Hey everybody, we are here to talk about WWE No Mercy and the greatest matches in No Mercy history. No Mercy, before WWE took a hold of it, it was something you might think of a porno, it was the yelp sound of Joe Coffey when he's in the wrestling ring, but now we think of it as WWE No Mercy. So I'm here to run down the 9 greatest matches in the history of No Mercy. I'm Kenny McIntosh, this is Inside the Ropes, let's get going with the list. Number 9, Triple H defending the WWE Championship at No Mercy 2007 against the Viper, Randy Orton. In 2007, WWE were intent on shoving John Cena and Randy Orton down our throats till we couldn't get any more, but luckily God shined on us and John Cena got injured, which meant we didn't have to watch it one more time at the 2007 No Mercy. Vince McMahon opened the show and anointed Randy Orton as the WWE Champion since he was meant to face the C Nation leader on the show. But immediately Triple H came out and challenged Orton for the belt, defeating him in the opening match of the show to become WWE Champion. Triple H would then go on to defeat Umaga later on in the show, but in the main event he'd have to defend his WWE title one more time in a last man standing match with Randy Orton. Now usually Randy Orton matches, you don't really want them to go into like a last man standing, it's so long. Triple H, his matches kind of remind you of like a hernia, like it just lasts a little bit too long, but on this occasion, Triple H and Randy Orton, they pulled out the goods. They had a classic match which resulted in Randy Orton, the young guy, winning. Triple H put Randy Orton over. I know it's a very strange term, he did put him over at No Mercy 2007. You can check it out on the network, it is worth a watch. Number 8, John Cena and Kurt Angle from No Mercy 2003. Before John Cena was terrorizing adult male wrestling fans and making all the kids giddy, he was trying to find his feet in the WWE. He had his debut match in the main roster in 2002 with Kurt Angle, so it was only fitting that over 1 year later, after Kurt Angle had had a stinger of a series with Brock Lesnar, that at No Mercy, Kurt Angle and John Cena would go one-on-one. In the weeks leading up to the match, they had a rap battle where Kurt Angle tried to be cool, and they had a really hot rivalry leading into this match at No Mercy. John Cena had to prove himself, he had to prove that he could be a top guy, and in this match with Kurt Angle, he proved that and more. This one is a classic, and luckily it made us forget about the I Quit match where Vince McMahon beat his daughter with a pole at No Mercy. Number 7 is Chris Jericho versus The Rock for the WCW Championship at No Mercy 2001. Chris Jericho debuted in the WWE in 1999 to so much fanfare. He came over from WCW, there was the Y2J problem, and he was one of the fan favourites in the company. But throughout 2000 and early 2001, Jericho was placed as a mid-card player in the company. But that all changed when The Rock returned in the summer of 2001 and became the WCW champion. The two hot babyfaces fought over the WCW title at No Mercy 2001. Jericho finally brought that mean streak to his babyface character and it worked tenfold. The Rock, who was one of the most popular wrestlers on the planet, was given the rub to Jericho and Jericho would end up defeating The Rock to win the WCW championship. Also, I know this is a difficult comprehension to have in 2017, but Stephanie McMahon was involved and she enhanced the match and she helped the guys. Stephanie, just do that again, just like once. Just help a guy out, like don't slap him, help him win a match. He gets, I mean, you know what to do. I've emailed you several times. You should apply. Number 6 is The Rock versus Kurt Angle at No Mercy 2000. Kurt Angle had a stormer of a first year in WWE. Debuting in the 99 Survivor Series, he would become the European Champion, the Intercontinental Champion, and have a great rivalry over the summer of 2000 with Triple H and Stephanie McMahon Helmsley. But it all led to No Mercy, where Kurt Angle finally had to prove that he could be a top guy in the main event going one-on-one with the WWF Champion, The Rock. The Rock had great matches in 2000 with Triple H, and this match at No Mercy was no different when he faced off against Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle had been on the main roster for 11 months. This was the big test. Could he defeat The Rock? Could he be a top player in the WWF? It would result in Kurt Angle getting the win and becoming the WWF champion to the shock of the wrestling world. Now, booger aside, when he does his celebration, it is a big moment for Kurt Angle's career and one that wrestling fans still remember to this day. In at number 5 is the Intercontinental Championship versus career as The Miz defends against Dolph Ziggler. For years, The Miz has tried to become one of the key players on the WWE roster, and in the summer of 2016, he cut a promo on Talking Smack with Daniel Bryan that did the job. Ever since then, The Miz has been on fire, whether it's Raw, SmackDown, wherever he goes, controversy and interest follows. In the winter of 2016, The Miz set his sights on Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler, a character who had become a little bit stale, but The Miz managed to rejuvenate him, and they had a great program over the Intercontinental Championship. But it all led to, could Dolph Ziggler beat The Miz? He had one last chance, and at No Mercy 2016 he had his shot. It was Dolph Ziggler's career versus The Miz's Intercontinental title. There were so many great things about this match. Dolph's desperate near falls, The Miz's attempt at doing yes kicks, terrible as they are. We had all that and more, and it's all available on the network to watch. Dolph Ziggler was able to regain the Intercontinental Championship, walk out of No Mercy with the title, and keep his career. And now in 2017, I kind of wish he'd lost. And at number 4, we have a Hell in a Cell match with The Undertaker challenging WWE Champion Brock Lesnar. Nowadays, when we think of Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker, we think of the end of the streak, or the SummerSlam match where Undertaker laughed maniacally like a homeless man, or even the Hell in a Cell match they had in 2015. But it all started for them back in 2002 when Brock Lesnar was the young upstart and he faced off against Biker Undertaker. They had a match at Unforgiven where Undertaker literally threw Brock Lesnar through the set. It all culminated at No Mercy 2002 when we had a Hell in a Cell match with Brock Lesnar defending against The Undertaker. This match was as brutal and barbaric as any Hell in a Cell match that does not involve Mick Foley. We had so many great moments in this match. Paul Heyman, being the weasel that he is, was dragged against the cell, and Undertaker even made him bleed. The Undertaker had his cast on from a broken arm, and that was part of the story of the match, was could Undertaker overcome the odds and win the WWE Championship. In the end, the Beast incarnate would become victorious, and he would retain his WWE Championship. When we talk about Hell in a Cell matches today, this one's maybe not as greatly remembered, but in terms of No Mercy matches, it's up there with the best. And at number 3, for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championships, we have Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit against Edge and Rey Mysterio. Paul Heyman is always credited with the SmackDown 6 in the summer and winter of 2002, and this match is pretty much the epitome of what that series meant. WWE introduced the SmackDown Tag Team titles, and the winners would be determined at No Mercy in 2002, when the finals would be Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit taking on Edge and Rey Mysterio. These four were four of the best in the business at the time, and the great thing about this match is that Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit had such a rivalry against each other, and they put their differences aside because they wanted to win Tag Team Gold. That's what it meant to them. They would put anything aside in order to be champions. Their opponents were none other than Edge and Rey Mysterio. This match is an absolute classic, clocking out at 22 minutes. The finish is beautiful to watch. Edge trying to defeat Kurt Angle, the Olympic gold medalist, with his own ankle lock finish. But Kurt, being that little bit smarter, would reverse the hold and put his own ankle lock in and make Edge tap, so Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit became the first SmackDown Tag Team Champs. And at number 2 for the World Heavyweight Championship, it's the ladder match from 2008 between Chris Jericho and Shawn Michaels. When Chris Jericho returned to the WWE in 2007, he was kind of doing the Greatest Hits tour. He was given his Y2J, the Ayatollah of Rock and Rolla, and the fans weren't responding quite how he'd like. So he rejuvenated himself, he revitalised his character and became a maniacal heel, creating a program for the ages with the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels. These guys did everything possible. At one point, Chris Jericho even punched Shawn's wife in the face. And it all culminated at the end at No Mercy in the ladder match for the World Heavyweight title. Chris Jericho was able to become the World Heavyweight Champion at Unforgiven, and Shawn Michaels would have one last chance to seek revenge, seek retribution against Jericho. These two had a classic that is remembered to this day, and Jericho lists it as his favourite ever wrestling match he's had. There's the great spot where Jericho hits the lion salt on top of the ladder, and in the end, when the two of them are vying to get that belt, vying to get the title, could Shawn Michaels become world champion just one more time? Jericho kills his dream, headbutts him, and retains his championship. This one is one of the best matches in WWE history, and anywhere else it might reach number 1, but on this list it's number 2. And at number 1, guys like tits, so it only makes sense that a tit is at number 1, as Edge and Christian battle the Hardys in the final of the TERRI Invitational Tournament. T.I.T. And at number 1, was it ever going to be anything else? It had to be Edge and Christian versus the Hardy Boys. The ladder match was a match in wrestling that had been, tried elsewhere in Stampede in the 80s or down south, and then the WWF in 1992 when Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels tried it out. It was iconified at WrestleMania 10 when Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels had their classic match. But I think when you think of ladder matches, when people think of ladder matches, this is the one that they think of. From No Mercy 1999. In an era where Stone Cold Steve Austin, Mick Foley, The Rock, Triple H and many others had the top spots, these four young guys had one shot to go out and make a name for themselves. And they had such a classic match that the next night on television, the fans in attendance gave them a standing ovation. The Hardys and Edge and Christian would rejuvenate the tag scene, rejuvenate the ladder match, and change it for years to come. There was no other choice. in No Mercy history for this match to be number 1. Now obviously this weekend we have No Mercy 2017, a double main event that wrestling fans around the world are talking about. Roman Reigns and John Cena and Brock Lesnar and Braun Strowman. Can one of those matches maybe make it into this list in a year's time? We'll never know. No Mercy's had its ups and downs, but as you can see, there's been some classic matches. I've been Kenny McIntosh. We want to hear your classic No Mercy matches. Let us know in the comments, did we miss one? Is there one that shouldn't be there? We want to know what you think. We hope you'll click subscribe and check out more of our videos. We'll see you soon.